The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We welcome you back to the Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner. John Dane is back with you. Coach Starkey of the Stewarts Creek Redhawks with us. And, Coach, last night you had quite a game. And when the game first started, it looked like, boy, this is going to be a tough matchup.
Really?
But the size looked like they had, some big girls. But, gosh, that defense start of the second quarter was unbelievable.
Yeah, we came out really slow, which is unfortunate. Something we definitely have to fix and get better at. But once we turned it on, our defense did its job and created the turnovers necessary to get us up pretty good in the first half.
I know you've got some seniors. You've got quite a few seniors, but you have done a great job, I think, of mixing those young kids in there in the game. In fact, you played 5 different people at one time.
Yeah, tonight we were able to kind of platoon system a little bit. We 5 in and 5 out on a lot of occasions. But 6 seniors, so we are super senior heavy. Bria Van went down with an injury on Tuesday. So she's going to be visiting the doctor on Monday. So we'll keep her lifted up in prayer because we definitely need her to return. So this evening, last night against Gallatin, we actually started a sophomore, and that's Amira Maynard. Amira has worked incredibly hard. She played varsity for us as a freshman last year, and she is more than deserving of the starting spot in last night's game against Gallatin, and she did really well.
In fact, we made her as one of the stars of the game last night, but the way she played and so much coolness as a young player, and boy, that's got to make you feel good for the coming years, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're excited about Amira for sure. She brings a ton of energy, and nothing really gets to her, whether she's playing well or she's not playing well or she's on the bench or she's in the game. She brings a ton of energy, and it's contagious, and we feed off of her a lot. So, like I said, she deserved the spot to start last night, and she's a big part of what we do.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Layla Wilder, because in every game you see her, you would think, okay, she may not score that much, but seems like she's always in double digits.
Absolutely, she stuffs the stat sheet. Last year, she turned me on to a 5x5, which is a statistic that I had never heard of until she recorded the 5x5 last year. So that's 5 statistics in 5 different categories. And I've been paying close attention to that ever since last year. And she just about does it almost every night. I know Tuesday night she had 10 points, 5 assists, something like 4 blocks, 4 steals, and she's constantly creating deflections. So the 5x5, we almost need to just call Layla Wilder the 5x5 because she every night she's putting up stats in every single category.
I'm so impressed with the defense, and you came in the second quarter and started pressing them. I think there was 6 consecutive steals at one point in the beginning of that second quarter. So your defense makes your offense go, I think.
Yeah, for sure, especially when we're faced against a zone defense. When we see another zone defense, we know if we're not already playing super intense on defense, we got to turn it up on defense just so that we have better opportunities to attack a zone defense. And Gallatin did a good job, especially in the first quarter, playing that zone. They ran like a 3-2 zone, and they did really good with it. And we kind of struggled with it, but like I said, once we turned our defense on, created those turnovers, and then it's layup city from there.
I'm impressed with the way Ward. Forgive me, I've lost the name here. Camden Ward, and your other Bernard.
Zeta Bernard.
And what I'm so impressed with him is running the floor.
Yeah, we stress that a lot. We have a transition offense, and a lot of it is predicated and successful based on one of them running to the rim as fast as possible. And so as long as we get at least one of them and most of the time it's Cam. We teach Cam and tell Cam to try to beat the defense down the floor, and we've had multiple occasions where we're able to hit our outlet, hit it to the wing, and then Cam's wide open, ready to go on the block. And so if we can do that every time, we'll do it every time. So yeah, they're taught and trained to run the floor as fast as they can.
And one thing that I see when you're running a different five out there, is that something you see going down the road later on and during the regular season, that you'll be doing more of that or less?
No, probably not. Tonight was a little bit of an anomaly. We were able to jump Gallatin pretty early and get up pretty good on them. And tonight's platoon system to start the game was more of a motivation for the first group to step it up because, like I said, we didn't come out ready to play, in my opinion. And so that first sub of all five of them coming out was kind of a wake-up call for the first group to step it up. But the platoon, the 5 in, 5 out is not something you'll see very often from us.
I thought it might be a little motivational when you did it, but and sometimes it lights a fire, doesn't it?
It's supposed to, and it did tonight for sure, because once they came back into the game, they were locked in and focused. And I don't know the result of the first half, but I think, yeah, we definitely turned it on. So, yeah.
What was impressive too, Coach, was they held their own. I mean, this group, the second group, did a good job while they were in there.
Yeah, there's very little let up. In fact, that's awesome for us in practice because we can create competition in practice. And Amira, who started tonight, is normally the leader of that second group, that the group that comes off the bench. And so when you got leadership like Amira and you got girls like Riley and Josie and Gabby that they can come in and compete, man, it makes us a lot better.
I'm interested to think about what the regular season now. I know you're going to be playing some games. I know at Christmas and that kind of thing. We're kind of in the first season, you might say. What do you plan to learn, and how do you want them to improve as these they're not preseason games, but before Christmas and before the regular season really gets kicking in?
Yeah, we've had some moments where we kind of just play basketball, where we all just kind of wait our turn to shoot, as opposed to executing as a team. And so we haven't quite put 4 quarters together where the team really understands in every single possession what the objective or what we're trying to do in that possession. We've had a lot of possessions where it's just like, okay, well, what do we do now? Who's going to shoot? And those possessions don't always end well. Sometimes they do, because we do have some good players, but in order to beat really good competition, every possession has to be executed perfectly. So as we progress towards Christmas break, we're going to play some good competition. We see PCA again, and then we play Webb. So we're excited to play against those good teams. And what we're looking for in those games is at least the majority of possessions. We need to know what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to execute, and as many possessions as possible, and trying to have fewer possessions of just waiting for our turn to shoot.
Slone Starkey, our guest here on Prentice Salsa Heating and Air Coach's Corner. A couple more questions. I've noticed you, and I watch you, and as I do a lot of the coaches, but you're really, I see a lot of times in the middle of a game, you'll turn and you'll sit and you'll talk to one of your players. And what are you telling them there? Because I think it's fascinating that you're teaching. It's a teaching moment, I'm assuming.
Right. Yeah. We can learn in every possession. And so most of my, I would say most of my subs, chances are they're coming out of a game to learn something from me. I feel like I'm obligated in this moment to tell them something. And it's not always a mistake. It's sometimes it's something that they did really well. And I'm trying to reinforce that the decision that you just made was the correct decision. Izzy Hodge is a good example of that. She's new to our program, so she's trying to learn as much as possible. And she has an incredible amount of skill. She's a really good player. And so, Izzy is a good example of subbing her out of the game just to reinforce, hey, Izzy, when we were in that pick and roll and you made that decision to kick it to the wing as opposed to hitting the roller, that was the perfect decision. And so, yeah, we use those opportunities of subs to try to teach as much as possible.
A lot of times in games, you'll see coaches not say anything. Is what was impressive with me because they want to know what they did. And I mean, a lot of times they go, "What did I do? Why am I coming out?" And without having to really make a big deal out of it, you just kind of politely tell them, really.
Sure. I think a lot of times as coaches, we assume our players know more than what they really do. And even for me, like we're talking about those sub situations, sometimes I'll call them out and just make sure that we're on the same page, because I will assume that they've made a decision based on certain factors, and those factors don't necessarily match up with what the player was thinking. And so sometimes, that communication between player and coach is important to make sure that both are on the same page and we're thinking alike.
And we forget how old they are sometimes. You got a 14, 15, 16-year-old out there. Sure. And no, I think what's impressive to me about those kind of things, they get frustrated too, and I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, and Izzy fits that category really well. She's working through frustration a lot. Like I said, being new to Stewarts Creek and trying to figure out how we do things and apply, like I said, the tremendous amount of skill that she has led to some frustration. So she's working through that, and once she gets that figured out and she knows where to apply her skill at Stewarts Creek basketball is going to be a lot better, because she brings a lot to the table.
I know you mentioned you got PCA and web, which is hard enough, but this is what it's all about right now, is playing as tough as competition as you can as you get in during this Christmas season.
Yeah, I set up the schedule to play the top teams in Tennessee, and so far we've played we've played some really good competition. We played Coffee County, who's ranked in the top 10. We played I forget their name. They're the Falcons. They were ranked Lincoln County. Thank you. Yeah. Lincoln County, really good team, well-coached team. They were in the top 10, ranked number 8. And then we played Bartlett already this year. So, we're playing some really good teams, and we're growing from it for sure.
Got big weekends planned with basketball this weekend?
No, we take the weekends off. We give them a lot of rest on the weekends. So
it's a long season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we're I'm looking at other people's schedule, and I think we've played more games than just about anybody. I feel like we're 11 games into the season. So, with the injury from one of our better players, Bria, we got to make sure that they get time to recover for sure. So.
Well, let me ask you one more thing. Where are the areas you feel like you can improve? I know you said about sometimes you play a little flat maybe at times, but what are some things you want to improve on? You want to see this team get to?
I think I've told the girls since this summer that if we can be a team that is impossible to press, then we'll be incredible. So we got to get our turnovers down. And then the other thing is our shooting percentage is really, really low right now, which will not stay that way because we have high quality shooters. But again, it kind of goes back to those possessions where we're all just kind of waiting to shoot our shot, and we don't know where those shots are supposed to come from. So as we get better at our offense, we'll have a better understanding of where and when to shoot those shots, and that shooting percentage will go up. And then finally, I guess the last thing is just we got to play 32 minutes of hard, intense defense. And tonight, or I should say against Gallatin last night, was an example of not playing for 32 minutes of hard, intense defense. So I think those three categories is what's going to get us to a really, really good team in Tennessee.
Well, the next time we talk, you'll probably have somebody else interviewing you. But I'm glad I got to talk to you twice in one time. But it'll be after Christmas, and we'll have more to talk about, I'm sure. And I know you're looking forward to the regular season too.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, Coach, good luck. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, by the way. All right. That's Slone Starkey, the head coach of the Stewarts Creek Redhawks, with us.